I thought I was the love of her life, but I was just her retirement plan. The ceiling fan creaked, slicing through the stifling air. A sweating bottle of beer sat on the table. I watched a drop of condensation roll down the glass like a tear. It hit the cheap plastic tablecloth and pooled there, just like I was pooling in this rot of a room. I stared at the wall. The paint was peeling in strips that looked like sunburned skin. I had sold a legacy to come here. I had sold my father's hardware shop in Manchester. I had sold the bricks and the mortar and the smell of sawdust that had been in my lungs for 49 years. And for what? For a dream of a brown-skinned son with my blue eyes. For a family that would look at me with respect instead of pity. I took a drink. The beer was warm. Everything in this country was warm, even the lies. It started 6 months ago. I arrived with a bank account full of pounds and a heart full of holes. I felt like a king. I walked the streets of Pattaya with my chest out. Back home, I was just William, the man who sold hammers and nails. Here I was, a walking ATM. I was handsome. I was tall. I was desired. I rented a condo on the beach road. I rented a top-of-the-line SUV. A Toyota Fortuner. Big, white, safe. I wanted to be ready. I wanted to show any potential woman that I could provide, that I could drive her and our future children in safety. The first few weeks were a blur of neon and noise. I met girls, plenty of them. They giggled. They drank my tequila. They asked for iPhones. They were children playing dress-up. I did not want a child to raise. I wanted a woman to raise a child with. Then I saw Anne. She was not in a bar. She was not dancing on a pole. She was at a street stall near the boxing stadium. She was eating sticky rice with her hands. She wore a tank top that showed off shoulders made of granite. She had short hair, no makeup. She looked hard. She looked like she had survived something. I sat down next to her. I ordered a coffee. I watched her eat. She ate with a ferocity that frightened me a little. She caught me staring. She did not smile. She did not look down. She looked me right in the eye. "What you look at, old man." That was the first thing she said to me. No honey, no handsome man, just the truth. I fell in love right there. I told her I was looking for someone strong. She laughed. It was a dry sound, like dry leaves crushing under a boot. "You want strong? Go watch boxing." I told her I had money. I told her I was retired. I told her I wanted a life. She stopped eating. She looked at my gold watch. She looked at my shoes. She calculated my worth in 3 seconds flat. "Buy me beer." I bought her a beer. Then I bought her dinner. She told me her name was Anne. She told me she had just come from the provinces. She said she was working to support her brother. He was a fighter, a Muay Thai champion in the making. She needed to pay for his training. She needed to buy his gear. I listened. I nodded. I saw a woman who cared about family. A woman who sacrificed for her blood. That was what I wanted. A woman who understood loyalty. I did not see the tattoo on her wrist. It was small. 3 dots in a triangle. I thought it was a Buddhist symbol. I thought it meant luck. I did not know it was prison ink. I did not know it meant she had spent 5 years in a concrete box for smuggling pills. I only saw the mother of my future son. We moved in together 2 weeks later. I felt young again. I felt powerful. I drove her around in the big white rental car. I felt the engine hum under my hands. I felt the air conditioning blast against the heat. We went to the beach. We went to the markets. I bought her gold. I bought her clothes. She never said thank you. She just put them on and looked in the mirror with that hard, assessing stare. One night, lying in the dark, I told her what I really wanted. I told her about the shop. I told her about being the last of my line. I told her I wanted a baby, a boy. The room went silent. The air conditioner rattled. I waited. My heart was hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. She turned to me. Her eyes were dark pools in the moonlight. "Baby, expensive William. Baby, need good school. Baby, need house." I told her I had money. I told her I would take care of everything. She traced a finger down my chest. Her nail was sharp. "You promise." I promised. I would have promised her the moon. I would have promised her my lungs. She smiled then. It was the first time I had really seen her smile. It did not reach her eyes, but I did not care. I was going to be a father. But first, she said, "We need to make merit. We need to pray. We need to ask the spirits for a strong boy." She told me about a temple, a special temple. It It was not on the tourist maps. It was high up in the hills, the big Buddha hill. But not the one the tourists went to, a secret shrine behind it, the shrine of the Golden Child. She said we had to go there. We had to offer incense and fruit. We had to donate money to the monks. I was ready. I grabbed the keys to the rental car. No, William. She stopped me at the door. Her hand was on my arm. Her grip was strong, too strong. You cannot drive there. The road is bad, very steep, very narrow. Farang cannot drive. You will crash. The spirits will be angry if we crash. I looked at the big white SUV in the driveway. It was a tank. It could handle anything. I am a good driver, Anne. I drove a van for 30 years. She shook her head. Her face was hard again. No, my cousin. He is taxi driver. He know the road. He take us for free. He family. I hesitated. I looked at the car. I looked at her. I wanted to show her I was the man, that I was in control, but I also wanted that baby. I wanted to make her happy. I wanted to respect her culture. If she said the spirits needed a taxi, we would take a taxi. Okay, call your cousin. She pulled out her phone. She did not scroll for a contact. She dialed a number from memory. She spoke in Thai, fast, low, choppy. I heard the word Farang. I heard the word money. I heard the word hill. She hung up. He come in 1 hour. Get your wallet, William. We need big donation for the monks. I went to the safe. I took out a stack of purple bills, 20,000 baht. It felt like a down payment on a dream. I put it in my wallet. I put my wallet in my back pocket. I walked out to the balcony. The city was waking up below us. The sun was burning through the haze. The ocean glittered like broken glass. I felt a surge of vertigo. I felt like I was standing on the edge of a cliff. I looked down at the street. A black sedan turned the corner. It had tinted windows. It moved slow. It moved like a shark in shallow water. Anne came up behind me. She put her hand on my shoulder. He is here. I turned to look at her. She was wearing a yellow dress I had bought her. It looked wrong on her. It looked like wrapping paper on a stick of dynamite. Are you happy, William? I smiled. I touched her cheek. Yes, Anne. I am happy. She did not smile back. She just stared at my throat. Good. Let's go make a baby. We walked out of the condo. We left the safety of the air conditioning. We stepped into the heat. It hit me like a physical blow. The air smelled of exhaust and frying oil and something else. Something sweet and rotting. The black sedan was waiting at the curb. The engine was idling. The windows were black holes. I could not see the driver. Anne opened the back door. She gestured for me to get in. After you, Papa. I froze for a second. The word Papa hung in the air. It was what I wanted to hear. It was the music I had paid for. But the way she said it was wrong. It was flat. It was cold. I pushed the feeling down. I got into the car. The leather was hot. The air inside smelled of stale cigarettes and cheap cologne. Anne slid in beside me. She slammed the door. The sound echoed like a gunshot. The driver did not turn around. He just put the car in gear. We pulled away from the curb. We left the city behind. We headed for the hills. I looked back once. I saw my white rental car sitting in the driveway. It looked abandoned. It looked like a shell. I faced forward. I didn't know it then, but I was already a ghost. I was just a walking wallet in the back seat of a hearse. The driver accelerated. We sped toward the dark green line of the jungle, toward the big Buddha, toward the trap. The road wound up the hill like a scarred snake. The city of Pattaya shrank below us until it looked like a circuit board of neon and filth. The air conditioning in the old sedan rattled. It smelled of stale tobacco and jasmine garlands. Anne held my hand. Her palm was damp. I squeezed it. I thought it was excitement about the blessing. She had told me this monk was powerful. She said he could see the spirit of a son waiting to be born. I wanted to believe her. I wanted a son with my eyes and her strength. The driver watched me in the rearview mirror. His eyes were flat. They were dead shark eyes. We passed the main tourist entrance to the big Buddha. The gold statue caught the sun. It looked indifferent to the ants crawling beneath it. We did not stop. The driver swung the wheel hard to the left. We turned onto a dirt track that cut through the thick brush. The sudden turn threw me against the door. I asked Anne where we were going. My voice sounded thin in the enclosed space. She stared straight ahead. She told me it was the secret entrance. She said it was the path for locals, the path for real magic. The trees closed in around us. The canopy blocked out the sun. The light turned sickly green. The suspension groaned as the tires hit deep ruts. Dust billowed up behind us. It choked the view of the ocean. It erased the world I knew. We climbed higher. The engine whined in protest. I felt the altitude in my ears. My vertigo kicked in. The drop off to the right was steep. There was no guardrail, just a sheer fall into the jungle canopy below. I gripped the door handle. My knuckles turned white. I looked at Anne for reassurance. She was checking her makeup in the visor mirror. She was applying fresh lipstick. The color was blood red. The car slowed to a crawl. Then it stopped. The engine cut out. The silence was heavy. It pressed against my ears like water. The only sound was the ticking of the cooling metal and the scream of the cicadas outside. We were nowhere. We were in a blind spot on the map. The driver turned around. He did not speak Thai. He spoke broken English. He told me to get out. I laughed nervously. I thought it was a joke. I thought maybe we had to walk the last mile to show devotion. I looked at Anne. She was looking out the window at a stray dog limping in the brush. She would not meet my eyes. The driver did not laugh. He reached under his seat. He produced a tire iron. The metal caught the dim light. It looked heavy. It looked used. Get out. Give me the bag. My stomach dropped. The sensation was worse than the vertigo. The leather satchel on my lap held everything. It had the cash for the donation. It had the cash for the hospital deposit I had promised her. It had my phone. It had the gold necklace I bought for her mother. I tried to argue. I tried to use my business voice, the voice that commanded respect back home, the voice that managed employees and negotiated contracts. Here, that voice was nothing. It was wind in the trees. The driver swung the iron. It smashed the window next to my head. Glass sprayed over my lap. It sparkled like diamonds on my dark trousers. A shard cut my cheek. I felt the warm trickle of blood. I scrambled out. I fell into the red dust. The heat hit me like a hammer. I threw the bag at his feet. I begged them to leave me my passport. I told them I was a father. I told them I was a good man. The driver kicked me in the ribs. The air left my lungs in a rush. I curled into a ball. I tasted copper and dirt. I heard the car door slam. I heard the engine roar to life. I looked up through the dust. I saw Anne in the back seat. She was lighting a cigarette. The flame illuminated her face for a second. She looked bored. She looked like she was waiting for a bus. She did not look at me. The car spun its tires. It sprayed gravel into my face. It sped away back down the track. The red taillights vanished around the bend. The sound of the engine faded. I was alone. The jungle was loud. The insects screamed. The heat was a physical weight. I checked my pockets. Empty. No wallet, no phone, no water. I was 5 miles up a mountain in the tropical heat. I was a 49-year-old man with a bruised rib and a bleeding face. I stood up. My knees shook. The pain in my side was sharp. I walked to the edge of the cliff. I looked down at the city. From up here, it looked peaceful. It looked beautiful. I could see the curve of the bay. I could see the tiny boats. I could see the hotel where my rental car sat in the parking lot. I realized I did not have the keys. The keys were in the bag. The sun began to dip behind the hill. The shadows lengthened. They looked like black fingers reaching for me. The temperature did not drop. The humidity rose. It wrapped around my throat. I had come here to create a life. I had come here to leave a legacy. Now I was a ghost haunting the side of a mountain. I had nothing. I was nothing. I started to walk. I didn't know if the track led to a road or a dead end. I just put one foot in front of the other. The darkness swallowed the path. I stumbled. I fell. I got up. I was not a king anymore. I was prey. And the night was just beginning. My lungs burned. The humidity wrapped around my throat like a wet towel. I stumbled down the mountain track in the pitch black. Every shadow looked like a man with a knife. Every rustle in the bamboo sounded like a threat. I had no money. I had no phone. I had no dignity. But I had one thing left. I had a debt. In this city, a debt is stronger than a promise. I owed the rental agency for the Toyota. The owner was a man named Chai. He was not a businessman you messed with. He held my passport in his safe. He knew where I lived. If the car disappeared, I was a dead man. But if I could lead him to the car, maybe I had a chance. I reached the bottom of the hill near dawn. My feet were blistered, my expensive shirt was torn. A stray dog barked at me from a trash pile. I saw a small noodle shop opening for the morning rush. The old woman stared at me, the crazy foreigner, the ghost walking out of the jungle. I begged for a phone. I did not beg for food. I did not beg for water. I needed to make one call. She pointed to a dusty landline on the counter. I dialed the number on the rental card I kept in my pocket. It rang 3 times. Chai answered. His voice was thick with sleep and anger. I told him the car was gone. I told him who took it. I told him I was standing at the bottom of Big Buddha Hill. I expected him to threaten me. I expected him to hang up. He did not. He asked if the engine was running when they took it. I said yes. He laughed. It was a cold sound. He told me to wait. He said he had installed a remote cutoff switch in a tracker 2 weeks ago. He said nobody steals from Chai. 20 minutes later, a black pickup truck screeched to a halt in front of the noodle shop. The windows were tinted. The door opened. Chai sat in the driver's seat. He wore a gold chain and a polo shirt that was too tight. 2 young men sat in the back. They looked bored. They looked dangerous. They held metal pipes wrapped in newspaper. "Get in," Chai said. He did not ask. I climbed into the passenger seat. The air conditioning hit me like a slap. On the dashboard, a tablet showed a blinking red dot. It was stationary. It was deep in the area they call the dark side, the hills behind the city where the streetlights do not work and the police do not go. We drove in silence. Chai smoked a cigarette. The smoke filled the cab. I looked at the map on the screen. The dot was at a small house down a dirt road. It was the house Anne had shown me a picture of once. She said it was her grandmother's house. She said it was falling down. We turned off the paved road. Dust clouds rose behind us. The sun was fully up now. The heat was returning. My stomach twisted. I was not a fighter. I was a shopkeeper. I was a man who wanted a baby to hold. Now I was riding with a hit squad to reclaim a piece of metal. Chai killed the headlights. He slowed the truck. We crept through the tall grass. The house was ahead. It was a concrete shack with a corrugated iron roof. The stolen Toyota was parked in the dirt yard. The hood was up. I saw the driver, the man from the taxi mafia. He was leaning over the engine. He was trying to figure out why the car would not start. And there she was, Anne. She was sitting on a plastic chair in the shade. She was counting money, my money. She looked beautiful. She looked happy. She laughed at something the driver said. She touched his arm. It was an intimate touch, a touch for a lover, not a brother. The lie shattered in my chest. There was no Muay Thai career. There was no training camp. There was only this, 2 wolves eating a sheep. Chai stopped the truck. He looked at me. "Stay here," he said. He nodded to the boys in the back. They opened the doors. They moved like water, silent and fast. They stepped out into the dust. The driver looked up too late. The first boy swung the pipe. It connected with the driver's knee. The sound was like a dry branch snapping. The driver screamed. He fell into the dust. The second boy kicked him in the ribs. It was efficient. It was brutal. It was business. Anne jumped up. The money scattered in the wind. Pink and gray banknotes fluttered like butterflies. She screamed. She did not scream for me. She screamed for the driver. Chai stepped out of the truck. He walked over to her. He didn't hit her. He just stood there. He was the predator here. She was just a scavenger. She shrank back against the wall. Then she saw me in the truck. I locked eyes with her through the windshield. I wanted to feel victory. I wanted to feel justice. I felt nothing. I just felt tired. She looked at me with pure venom. There was no apology in her eyes. She was angry that she had been caught. She was angry that the ATM had fought back. The boys dragged the driver away from the car. They tossed the keys to Chai. Chai got into the Toyota. He started the engine with his master key. He rolled down the window and yelled at me. "Get in the truck," he said. "You drive the truck back." I climbed into the driver's seat of the pickup. My hands shook on the wheel. I looked at Anne one last time. She was on her knees in the dirt, gathering the scattered bills. She did not look up. She was already moving on. She was saving what she could. I put the truck in gear. I followed the Toyota back to the city. The dust covered the rear window. I could not see her anymore. The police were never called. That is not how things work here. Chai got his car back. The driver got a broken leg. Anne got to keep the cash she had picked up from the dirt. And me, I got the bill. Chai sat me down in his office the next day. The air conditioner hummed. He tapped a calculator. He added up the recovery fee, the fuel, the time, the scratches on the bumper, the tire wear. It was more money than I had. I told him I was broke. I told him they took everything. He shrugged. He opened the safe. He took out my passport. He placed it on the desk. Then he placed his hand over it. "You work," he said. "You pay." That was 6 months ago. I do not sleep at night anymore. I wear a uniform that is 2 sizes too big. I sit in a small booth at the entrance of Chai's car storage lot. I lift the barrier for customers. I lower the barrier when they leave. I watch the wealthy men drive out in rented convertibles. I see the women in the passenger seats. I see the smiles. I see the hope in the men's eyes. Sometimes I want to warn them. I want to tap on the glass and tell them about the house in the dark side. I want to tell them about the taxi mafia and the long walk down the mountain, but I do not. I just lift the barrier. The ceiling fan in the guard booth creaks. It slices through the stifling air. A sweating bottle of water sits on the table. I watch a drop of condensation roll down the plastic like a tear. I wanted a mixed-race baby. I wanted to be a father. I wanted to leave something behind in this world. I got my wish. I left everything behind. My money, my pride, my past. I'm part of the city now. I'm just another shadow in the neon light. I lift the gate. I let the next victim in.